I just have to come on live again because, well, I'm live, but I'm not really live because I'm just uploading this video. But I need to share the social contract here with you because it's insightful. Our social contract is based on John Locke, and many countries based, at least the global reset, this economic reset, they base their social contract on Hobbes. Hobbes is leading, and I think Hobbes was the one who said that, no, I had it in my mind, but he said that all men are basically prone to violence, that we can't get away from violence. Hobbes was more thoughtful, but eventually, in Hobbes' view, eventually society breaks down. I think don't quote me on it, I don't remember, I gotta go back and reread Hobbes, because I don't remember. And it's been a long time. I read law. That's my thing. I love law. Okay, so what was I saying? So we have already alluded to the fact that COVID-19 has acted as an amplifier of pre-existing conditions, bringing to the fore long-standing issue that resulted from deep structural frailties that had never been properly addressed. This dissonance and an emergent questioning of the status quo is finding expression in loudening call to revise the social contracts by which we are all more or less bound. Okay, so here in America, our social contract is that we govern ourselves and we elect our representatives to manage the government, and we pay them a little bit so that they can manage and make sure we have good laws, and which I don't believe they have been managing the government very well, and I don't believe they have the best laws. But pretty much what this is telling me is that they want to cause, they want to break up the government and start a new social contract. But that's bottom line. That's what I think this section of his book is saying. So broadly defined, the social contract, quote and unquote, refer to the often implicit set of arrangements and expectations that govern the relationship between individuals and institutions. Here, our relationship is that we govern from the bottom up. Okay? So we the people are sovereign, and our states are sovereign along with the government. Put simply, it is the glue that binds societies together. Without it, the social fabric unravels. Okay, so the glue that binds Americans together is that we believe in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, or the Bible, or both, or all of them. Okay? Our rights are laid out clearly in the Declaration of Independence. That document right there was written before the Constitution was written, and those rights were transferred to the Constitution and ratified in the Constitution. So the unraveling in America is the fact that government is creating a new narrative, and the big tech companies are deciding to control the narrative so that they can convince and influence us, the people, to change the social contract. That's my interpretation. I'm not an expert here. this is what I'm reading, and based on my knowledge of history and my knowledge of constitutional law, I believe from the books and from law, I believe this is what they're trying to say. Put simply, okay, so where the glue? For decades, it has slowly and almost imperceptibly evolved in a direction that forced individuals to assume greater responsibility for their individual lives and economic outcomes, leading large parts of the population, most evidently in the low-income brackets, to conclude that the social contract was at best being eroded. Yes, it has been eroded. If not in some cases breaking down entirely. The apparent illusion of low or no inflation is a practical and illustrative example of how this erosion plays out in real life terms. For many years, the world over, the rate of inflation has fallen for many goods and services, with the exception of three things that matter the most to the great majority of us: housing, healthcare, and education. For all three, prices have risen sharply, absorbing an ever larger proportion of disposable income, and in some countries even forcing families to go into debt to receive medical treatment. Similarly, in the pre-pandemic era, work opportunities had expanded in many countries, but the increase in employment rates often coincide with income stagnation and work polarization. This situation ended up eroding the economic and social welfare of a large majority of people whose revenue was no longer sufficient to guarantee a modest, decent lifestyle, including among the middle class in the rich world. Today, the fundamental reason underpinning the loss of faith in our social contracts coalesce around issues of inequality, the ineffectiveness of most redistribution policies, a sense of exclusion and marginalization, and a general sentiment of unfairness. Right there, you could see Kamala's equity definition. And right there, he is telling you very clearly that they want inflation. Everything is going to go up because of this pandemic. Everybody has been locked down. People have lost their jobs. People are unemployed, receiving from the government. So who's going to take the brunt of the loss of income and the loss of livelihood? Well, we are, because when inflation goes up, the big businesses can just raise the price of our cost of goods and put it back to you, the little guy. And so the big businesses are going to make the money back quicker than the little businesses who are having to take in that price increase and that income reduction. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not an I did take a little bit of economics, but we're gonna, the little guy, the poor, and the middle class are going to be the ones paying for this economic downfall. I am put plainly. And the inequality that they're talking about is that we, the ones who work our butt off to make money and just want to live a good life, are going to become less equal, and we're going to become poorer, and the rich are going to get richer, and the rich is going to be a small amount of people at the top. And everything's gonna go up. So this café con leche that I have here, normally it's only like $3, right? Well, this café con leche is gonna be the same café con leche, and guess what? This café con leche is going to cost like double the price, but you're gonna get the same cup. And the unfairness is going to be in the fact that government is going to enrich themselves on taking more power from us, the people who govern themselves and have the power in the first place. So they're going to be running the show and becoming more powerful, and it's going to break down the social contract, and then we're going to eliminate what we have. Our freedoms are going to be eroded, and it's just going to be tyranny from here on out. No, seriously, it is. Okay, so this is why many citizens have begun to denounce a breakdown of social contracts, expressing more and more forcefully a general loss of trust in institutions and leaders. Yes, there is, I agree. In some countries, this widespread exasperation has taken the form of peaceful or violent demonstration. In others, it has led to electoral victories for populist and extremist parties. Whichever form it takes, in almost all cases, the establishment's response has been left wanting, ill-prepared for the rebellion and out of ideas and policies levers to address the problem. Although they are complex, the policy solutions do exist and broadly consist in adapting the welfare state to today's world by empowering people and by responding to the demands for a fair social contract. And what is fair? What is a more fair contract than to let people decide their lives? You tell me. I don't know, but I like the freedom. That's fairness to me. I like the freedom to decide and control my own life. I don't want government controlling me. I'm sorry, get me. And when people tell me you gotta wear the mask because you gotta it's to be more comfortable. It's to keep others safe. My butt. My freedom is about freedom. And if others want to be safe, stay home. Don't go out. Stay home. Live in fear. Life is about taking risks. We're going to have pandemics. We're going to have viruses. The government cannot keep you safe. You keep yourself safe by eating the right foods, by learning and being educated and becoming literate. You know that Abraham Lincoln, I have his autobiography, and he said that he hated school. That when he was in grade school, he just hated the teachers. All they had knowledge for was reading, writing, and ciphering, and he hated school. And he regrets not putting more attention, but he learned to read on his own. He learned to write on his own. He schooled himself. He educated himself. He never set foot in any university or any academia, and he became a lawyer. The days, of course, are long gone because we have the damn freaking ABA controlling who's a lawyer and who is not. But you know what? If I had the ability like Abe Lincoln, I'd be a lawyer right now. And I'd go to court and ask the judge to freaking give me the certificate because that's how Abe Lincoln did it. The judge gave him an exam And he said, okay, now you passed and you're a licensed lawyer. That was how lawyers became lawyers before the ABA. And he studied a lot. He studied his law books, and he read like 6 Euclid, he called it. He read 6 Euclid books to learn law. So, okay, distraction, action. I love distracting and kind of deviating. Okay, whichever form it takes, it in almost all cases, yes. Okay, so I already read that. Over the past few years, several international organizations and think tanks have adjusted to this new reality and outlined proposals on how to make it happen. The pandemic will mark a turning point by accelerating this transition. Right there, he told you. This pandemic is our rite of passage to facilitate this new world order with a new set of social contracts governing the entire world. Why isn't Kamala Harris and Biden, or why isn't the president going down to Texas and seeing what's going on? Because they don't really care. They want open borders. They want this global social contract. You're a citizen of the world. And who's going to be leading us? Some dude in some far-off country that we can't even talk to. Global tyranny is what's going to happen if we don't wake up and rise up and do something to take back our country. So what form might the new social contract take? This is this question in the next paragraph. What do you think? There are no off-the-shelf, ready-to-go models because each potential solution depends upon the history and culture of the country to which it applies. So why do they want this equity movement, this 1619 movement, is to erase history and redo it again. They don't want to teach you about the brilliance of our founding fathers who fought the good war to end the tyranny of the king because he was being a tyrant. Inevitably and understandably, a good social contract for China will be different from the one of the U.S., which in turn will not resemble that of Sweden or Nigeria. However, they could all share some common feature, can we? And principles the absolute necessity, necessity of which has been made ever more obvious by the social and economic consequence of the pandemic crisis. And they say 2 in particular stand out: a broader, if not universal, provision of social assistance, that's welfare state, social insurance, healthcare, universal, and basic quality service. Can the government provide quality service? No, not if the government controls it. The move towards enhanced protection for workers, and for those currently most vulnerable, like those employed in a fueling the gig economy, in which full-time employees are replaced by independent contractors and freelancers. So, my job as an independent consultant. So the move towards enhanced protection for workers and for those currently more vulnerable, like those employed in fueling the gig economy, in which full-time employees are replaced by independent contractors and freelancers. So they want to protect, I guess, us? Or they want to protect the worker who works for those companies as full-time employees. I guess that's what they want. So they want to reduce the fact that there are people like me who want to be independent and don't want to work for any company. They want to protect those people. So I'm taking away from Scholastic's sales gals. They work for Scholastics. They're not independent. And so they don't have enough. So what they do is they pay some people to communicate with them. But the schools, when they hire Scholastics, they are the ones who have to put up the vendor event and the book fair. And so while I get paid a little commission to help the schools put up the vendor events, and I help them promote their events so that they don't have to worry about the already exhausted workforce that they have. And so I guess they want to protect those workers who volunteer, or those workers. You see what I'm saying? I guess. I don't know. You comment below. So anyways, it's a really interesting that there's a geopolitical reset, a globalization and nationalization reset, and then this book has an environmental reset, coronavirus and the environment, native and zoonotic disease. That's a new zoonotic diseases are those that spread from animal to humans. Most experts and conservatives agree that they have drastically increased in recent years, practically because of deforestation, a phenomenon also linked to an increase in carbon dioxide emissions, which augment the risk of human annuals. Anyways, I gotta go. My son is like